obviously Biden, they've been talking about Afghanistan for ages, and removing the troops, and is our work done, not done, and does that give rights to, or further opportunities for the Taliban? And what do you make of it, Cedric? How would you analyze this situation and America's role?
Right. So, Martin, I think that it is time that we at least called an end to the war. Yeah, I think that 20 years is a long time to be any place. Part of the issue is a semantic issue. We still have troops in Germany, for example, but we don't call it a war with Germany. We
Right.
haven't done so since 1945, and we should
We've
have
still
once
got
bin
troops
Laden.
in Germany.
Right.
What's their purpose
Right.
there?
Well, their purpose is to be a counterweight, it's multifaceted, but generally to be a counterweight to Russia right now. And so, in some ways, it is, and the Germans, want them there. And in fact, we're increasing our level in Germany by 500 more troops. So it's not like they're unwelcome. It's, it's a good, for both countries, it's a good thing. And the other part of it is, of course, in the wake of both World War I and World War II, the other European powers wanted, a damper put on potential German ambitions for even further mischief, a la World War II, and that's something that that's more of a historical reason, but still a reason for that. So when you look at Afghanistan, I think that we should have changed the name once Bin Laden was killed and declared victory at that point. And then said, yeah, we're just here to advise. And, hopefully the Afghan government will take care of business like they're supposed to. I don't think they will. I think there's a lot of, part of the problem is endemic corruption. I think that, unfortunately, a lot of the gains that we see in terms of rights for women, rights for minorities in Afghanistan at this point will probably be curtailed under an eventual Taliban regime. I personally would not like to see the Taliban back in Kabul, but I believe that that is probably what will happen at some point, and that is bothers me a lot. But on the other hand, it does not make sense given technology and given the capacities that we have, the capabilities that we have, to stay there in a large presence in the form of a large troop presence, beyond this point. And I'm very concerned that it could still come back to be a jumping off point for terrorist forces, but it really requires, instead of a troop presence there, it requires intelligence, what I would call intelligence overwatch, and that means paying attention to the social dynamic of Afghanistan, not just who's got how many tanks, but what they're actually thinking, and that's what's really important in this case.
Yeah.
So you're genuinely concerned that in the future, the Taliban regaining power of Afghanistan, and they could potentially take revenge for 20 years of occupation?
Oh, they will. There's no doubt in my mind that if they do gain control, that they will take revenge. They're not known for their 12-step programs of anything. So I believe that they're going to be a very very tough on their opposition. I don't think they will treat the government officials of the current Afghan government very well. And I think that we have to do everything that we can to protect those Afghans who have supported the NATO operations in Afghanistan. We have to protect them, beyond what we would normally do for people like that. So it is, I think it's going to be a very difficult time. I don't see very much good coming out of it. But the Afghan government, on the other hand, the Afghan government has had over a decade to prepare themselves for an eventual takeover eventual departure of the American and NATO forces.
To me, if I listen to your view, and I kind of share a similar view, and that's that we've got to return to a very strong autocracy. I think of it as like lots of fiefdoms, and a view that what can you expect other than the fact that this could just become a hotbed for a whole bunch of things, from terrorism to drugs and to humanitarian problems for the people of Afghanistan? And yet, what you're actually saying is, you're right, with technology and with the military technologies that there are today. It's what you're saying is, after 20 years, it's a rethinking of the way we approach Afghanistan, or the way America might approach it, or the way Britain approaches it.
Right, absolutely. And, we have, historically we've had so little experience in places like Afghanistan. Obviously, that experience level has ramped up quite a bit. People are more familiar with the culture, with the language, with the politics of the various tribes in Afghanistan and the various regions of Afghanistan. But it is something that it's very hard to stay in a place like that forever. And we should have never thought that we could do so, that we were the exception. This is one of those intractable problems that exists, and we have to recognize that fact and just deal with that reality.